In December last year, I was lucky enough to watch the launch of the Mars Science Laboratory from Cape Canaveral, Florida. As we speak, that rocket is on its way to Mars, and in August this year, we'll be touching down on the red planet. It was my first rocket launch, and so obviously it was a huge thrill. But what made the event so special was understanding its purpose. Why send a rocket to Mars? Because the rocket I saw launch in December will lead to another rocket, that will lead to another rocket, that will lead to another rocket, that will eventually lead to the rocket that will carry the first man or woman to Mars, the first human footprints on the red planet. So the question one asks is, whose footprint is it going to be? Now, anyone who saw my ungraceful half somersaults on the zero gravity flight yesterday will know it's not going to be me. Probably not most of us in this room. But it could be Sachin, it could be Amir, it could be Emerald, it could be Dorothy or Sarah or Patrick or Derek or Laura or Maria. Today's Space Lab winners are tomorrow's space explorers. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we are here today. Space Lab was born out of a desire to inspire the next generation, to give kids the opportunity to design an experiment that could actually be carried out in space, to give kids the opportunity to think beyond the bounds of their curriculum, to give ordinary children an extraordinary opportunity, put simply, to make reality greater than fiction. From the millions of people that came to our YouTube Space Lab channel, we received thousands of entries, and from those thousands of entries, we got down to 60 regional finalists, and from those 60 finalists, our prestigious panel of judges, some of whom are here in the audience, and the YouTube community, picked our 6 wonderful winning teams. And I can look at you now, I have a message to you. You are all awesome. You are all absolutely incredible, and you have achieved something very, very special. And not only were your ideas and your experiments awesome, but having had the privilege of getting to know you over the last couple of days, I can say that you as people are awesome. You're the people that give me hope and inspiration for the future of humanity. So thank you for your ideas, and thank you for everything, and thank you for making Space Lab the event it is. As some of you will know, YouTube Space Lab has been a labor of love and a long time coming. But YouTube and Google alone could not make this happen. It was made possible by a broad and wonderful coalition of partners who came together, united by their shared vision for inspiring the next generation. NASA, ESA, JAXA, Bioserve, Space Adventures, Lenovo, all have come together. And over the next few minutes, we're going to hear from representatives from some of those organizations to talk about their involvement. And at the end, we're going to hear which 2 experiments are going to get sent into space, 250 miles above the Earth, for the whole world to see. So I'll stop there, and I'm going to show you a short video giving you a glimpse of what we have been up to with the 6 winning teams over the last few days in Washington, D.C. Thank you. Hope and inspiration.
It's my first time in the US, and I'm really having a blast.
We're from Massachusetts. I've never been this far from home.
We've been to Washington, D.C. before, but never like this.
I think that everything is like a dream.
It was great to meet people from different countries, get to know their views about space.
We're all gonna hang out together and learn about each other and just have a great time together.
We're about to meet Congressman Gary Peters, and it's really exciting because he's actually from Troy, which is where we're both from.
I'm going to be meeting the senators of my state, Massachusetts, Scott Brown and John Kerry today. Very exciting. I wasn't expecting that today.
We met some senators. It was really an honor to meet them.
I am in awe.
Senator Rockefeller was really impressed by the ideas.
We have a lot of top scientists that come before our committee, but I think you're better than all of them.
I think getting to meet everybody else from around the world, all coming together in the pursuit of science, and just, it doesn't matter what language we speak, where we're from, we just all came together because we all like space. That's just really mind-blowing. It's great.
Welcome to the Zero G orientation. We are going to start.
I really look forward to this, so I'm just really excited right now.
Getting to experience what the experiments will be in with everybody else will be really exciting.
You know, it's always honestly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Exactly. Like, literally, it's once in a lifetime. Like, it's never going to happen again.
Yeah. So we're just going to take the moment and then just, you know, make it last as long as we can.
Everything. Lunar gravity, we experienced Martian gravity, but the best part was zero gravity. Everybody just floating around. It was incredible.
I saw people down, people up. Well, we don't know where is the floor and where is the ceiling. Simply amazing.
I'd now like to introduce Lenovo's Vice President of Consumer Marketing, Tracy Tractor.
Thank you very much. I am so thrilled to be here and so excited to be able to introduce the regional winners for the 14 to 16-year-old age group. And I have to tell you, when Lenovo launched the YouTube Space Lab program with YouTube last October, you know, we were very inspired by the idea of it, but since then we've been blown away by the creativity and the curiosity and the imagination and frankly the intelligence that's been demonstrated by kids around the globe. And as the #1 PC provider for the education space worldwide, being involved in pursuits that further education is what we're all about. It's part of our DNA. So being in a program, part of a program that celebrates and furthers education in such an amazing and visible way is very, very fulfilling for us. So again, we're thrilled to be here. Something that some of you may not know is that we also provide the PC technology to the astronauts on the International Space Station. And so to celebrate some of the achievements thus far by these fabulous regional winners, we've given them some of that same technology to keep them imagining and learning and inspiring us all into the future. So without further ado, I want to introduce our regional winners, but first we're going to get to know them a little bit and watch a few videos. We're very...
I'm Patrick Singh, I'm 17, currently studying in Auckland Grammar School in Auckland, New Zealand. Since I was small, I wanted to be an astronaut and a badminton player, an artist and a scientist, so it was a mix of everything.
I'm Derek, I'm 16 and I go to Auckland Grammar School. I have an elder sister and I live with my mum and dad. I would like to do veterinary, or I could become an engineer, but I'm not sure what field I would be in.
Patrick, he was on YouTube homepage and he just found out the experience.
There was a banister on the top and it's just labeled YouTube Space Lab, and I just found out more about it and it got quite interested.
We tried to come up with an idea that would actually be practical and useful for astronauts and just something that we were curious about.
We thought of a basic idea and just altered the apparatus that we use to make it more efficient and more feasible.
I do like chemistry and the idea that everything is made up of much smaller units.
It's really fun to find out that you learn something and it fits into your daily life and explains how things work.
I'm starting to get into cycling. It's a sport and it's a good exercise.
I really like badminton because it's got more jumping involved and it's more physical. I think I want to experience the type of quietness that you experience in space. It will make you wonder, the wars, the politics, are they really that important? And in space, Earth is really, really small.
Yo me llamo Laura Calvo, tengo 15 años y vivo en un pueblecito pequeño que se llama Herbogo, que está muy cerca de Rois, donde vengo al colegio, que se llama CPI 2 Dices.
Yo me llamo María Vilas, tengo 15 años y vivo en Socastro, que queda muy cerca de Rois, que es a donde vengo al colegio, CPI 2 Dices.
Pues Rois es todo campo, es una zona muy tranquila, no suele haber muchos problemas y bueno, es un sitio precioso. Durante el día nos levantamos, venimos al colegio y tal, estamos en el colegio, estamos todo el día juntas.
Sí, hasta en clase estamos las dos delante de todo y juntas. Por la tarde, dependiendo, pues a lo mejor si tengo clase de piano, de solfeo, pues me quedo aquí y luego...
Después, bueno, cuando venimos a música, pues también...
Sí, en sus clases de guitarra siempre suelo estar yo y ahora están aprendiendo canciones de Queen y yo siempre estoy ahí cantando.
De la biología a mí me gusta que estudies la vida, en realidad, y las matemáticas, pues simplemente porque son como un juego. Javier, nuestro profesor de tecnología, nos comentó que había un concurso, este concurso de YouTube Space Lab.
Javier nos motivó mucho y
en los momentos de
que nos estábamos que...
Yo no quiero seguir con esto, que
y él
me
siempre
loca.
Confiando en nosotras, diciendo, ojo, va, que sí. Ya el simple hecho de ser ganadores regionales o simplemente finalistas, decir, concho, pero nosotras aquí en el medio del campo, ¿dónde vamos, hombre? ¿Qué dices?
Pues si nuestro experimento al final se llevara a la Estación Espacial Internacional, sería algo genial. Porque
es decir, llevar Rois, un pueblecito pequeño, decir, pues sí, somos grandes. No, en que vivamos en el medio de árboles, en el medio de montañas, da igual. Somos grandes. Y como somos grandes hay que demostrarlo.
My name is Dorothy Chen. I'm 16 years old. I attend Troy High School in Troy, Michigan. I definitely want to pursue science as a career. I don't really see myself doing anything else.
I'm Sarah Ma. I'm 16 years old from Troy High School, Troy, Michigan. I like succeeding, like just knowing that if I put my mind to anything, I can do it and it will be done.
We first heard about YouTube Space Lab through a club at school. It's called Biology Competitions Club.
We wanted to do something biological instead of physics related. And I guess when we first started brainstorming, we wanted to do something that would definitely impact the human race.
If everything works out as we hope, it could just help cure certain diseases. The idea that something that you made, something that is your experiment being sent up into space and actually becoming a reality is pretty incredible. Apart from academics, I think that my life pretty much consists of winter guard and bassoon.
I don't play bassoon, but I play piano and I really love it.
Winter guard is definitely a sort of escape.
For that hour and a half while I'm rehearsing, it's like I don't have to worry about my bio test.
It's so cool how with science, everything relates to each other. Physics is used in chemistry, chemistry is used in biology, and so on. Everything is interrelated, and it's really neat to find those relations.
I do like looking up at the night sky. I think constellations are the coolest things ever, just to look and see this vast expanse over us. I mean, we're just one small planet, and there's so much more left to explore. Just to look and see.
What I'm talking about in terms of inspiration. You guys are amazing. So let's bring up first Derek and Patrick from Auckland, New Zealand. Second, Laura and Maria from Royce, Spain, or nearby. And lastly, Dorothy and Sarah from Troy, Michigan. So before we hand out the awards, we wanted to just ask a few little questions. Tell us about what was the inspiration for your experiment?
Well, we were looking at the conditions of space, so we thought, oh, microgravity is a really unique environment, which gave rise to that we should do physics, because, you know, physics depends a lot on gravity, and we just thought, okay, convection, that's sort of like a weird form of heat transfer, so, yeah.
And did you go through iterations? How long did it take to come up with the submission?
To be honest, the idea was there for a long time, but to develop it took us about a week or so, and then to make the video about a month or so. Yeah.
Fabulous. Maria and Laura, tell us a little bit about, oh, sorry, excuse me.
Forgot the most important part.
The awards.
Derek, this is for you. Congratulations.
So, you've come a long way from Royce, Spain. Tell us about the experience. What's been your favorite part of the experience here in Washington, D.C.?
I don't know, maybe to meet all of them, because we watch their videos a lot of times, and I don't know, to meet them, to know how they are. Yeah, and of course the CRG flight was amazing. I think the whole experience since in Royce still right now it's wow.
I think you guys are an inspiration to us, and it's true. Technology is enabling people to connect in many ways, and it's great that you're able to be here.
Congratulations. Maria, congratulations.
Congratulations, Maria. Congratulations. Sarah and Dorothy, you talked a little bit in your video about inspiration and your passions. Tell us, have you thought about space travel? Is it something that you're aspiring to?
This experience has definitely made me. This experience has definitely made me more interested in space. I mean, I've always been fascinated by it, but this just seems more real now.
Yeah, with everything that we've researched about space, we're just so enthralled by the idea that by doing research in these conditions, you can improve life on Earth and you can better our environment here on Earth. And as for space, I mean, I'd love to go into space. I mean, I think it'd be great, but after a zero-G flight yesterday,
I'd take some motion sickness pills first, then I'll go.
I think we need some more training before to go into space, but
thank you. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations. Well done.
All right.
So, take a few photos. While they're up here.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, getting the experiments up into space is not easy. And I'm now going to introduce two people that play a very important role in making that happen. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Tom Shelley, President of Space Adventures, and I'd like to also introduce Stephanie Countryman, the Business Development Manager from BioServe. Come to the stage, please.
Well, good morning. It's really a pleasure to be here, and It's a very exciting moment, having been involved from the very beginning of the Space Lab project, and it's so exciting to get to meet all of you students. And Space Adventures, as a company, we're a private spaceflight company, and what that means is we've sent, since 2001, we've arranged for 8 private citizens to be able to fly up to the International Space Station and live and work on board alongside Sunita, actually one of our clients, Charles Simone. His very first flight, he was with Sunita on board the space station. But they've spent collectively hundreds of millions of dollars on their flight, which is, makes space relatively accessible, but only for the very few, the very wealthy. But our business, we see it as a lot more than just making the dreams of the very wealthy and the very successful come true. We have a wider goal of trying to open up space for private involvement and to make it accessible for an awful lot more people. And you guys had a taste of that yesterday with the fantastic zero-G flight that Therese and her team arranged for you yesterday. And that is just one of the experiences that Space Adventures offers. That our clients and what they have done over the last 10 years have demonstrated that there is a market for private citizens and private involvement in space. And no matter what these guys, the NASA and JAXA and ESA have done over the last 5 decades of absolutely extraordinary work, opening up space and demonstrating that mankind can exist beyond our atmosphere, we see a slightly different future. And it's a future that involves private citizens and private industry in space. And we're starting to see some of that come to fruition now. Our client, the market that we've demonstrated has now given rise to a lot of investment from private companies. There's now billions of dollars being spent on new technologies that are going to try to get people into space, and not just NASA astronauts and ESA and other astronauts, but private citizens to fly alongside them. And all of that investment money is being done around the business case of public and private partnership. And this project is a perfect example of that, of how commercial industry and the government space agencies can work together to really open up space and make it accessible for more people. And I think the future for private spaceflight, it's no longer just the domain of government agencies. So that's a lot of the reason why Space Adventures got involved and wanted to support the Space Lab program. We envision a future that has private astronauts flying to private space stations, doing commercial research on behalf of private entities, and this whole new ecosystem of business being built up around space. And you guys are the ones who get to make it a reality. You're the ones who hopefully will go on to build the rockets and design the experiments and possibly even fly as some of the first commercial astronauts going up into space on a purely commercial, non-government supported basis. And that is a very, very exciting future that I think we all have ahead of us. And so that's why Space Adventures got involved, and a little bit about our background. But I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie at Bioserve, who has the fantastic job of working to try to make your guys' ideas into real space experiments that Sunita is actually going to perform in space. And so,
thanks, Tom. So first, I'd like to thank the YouTube Space Lab team for allowing us, Bioserve, to have the opportunity to participate in this exciting project. It really is an honor for us to be the organization that will help design and develop the experiments that actually fly into space. And we are really dedicated to making the experiments that fly successful in space and designing them in a manner that the teams envisioned they would be conducted. Just briefly, over here is a unit that's called CGBA, which is short for Commercial Generic Bioprocessing Apparatus. And this is actually, we have 2 of these exact units up on the space station that have been there since 2003. And this is a smart incubator in that it can provide data control and temperature control for both physical and biological experiments that are conducted up on the space station. So this is our training unit. We train astronauts with it. So feel free after the award ceremony is over to go over and look at that. So I'd like to close by saying that BioServe is at the University of Colorado. So education and inspiration of the next generation of scientists and engineers, or whatever you may choose to become, is really near and dear to our hearts. And we take that really seriously. So we truly have been inspired by all 6 of the teams and your experiments. And I want you all to know that each one of those experiments is worthy of being conducted on board the space station. We would fly any of them and conduct any of them, and we conducted a lot of experiments, so I don't say that lightly. So congratulations, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Stephanie. I'd like to introduce our next speaker. It's the man from NASA who is quite literally responsible for the International Space Station, NASA's Associate Administrator for Human Exploration and Operations, Bill Gerstenmaier.
Well, thank you. It's my privilege to be here and kind of represent the Human Exploration and Operations group within NASA. And it's really not just NASA. We also work closely with JAXA, the European Space Agency, the Canadian Space Agency, the Russian Space Agency. The space station is really an international endeavor. It's 900,000 pounds of hardware that was put into space. It's an unbelievable research facility with a laboratory from each one of our partner countries up and operating, doing experiments. And it's great to see what you guys could do and how you could think about microgravity and what kind of experiments you could put together and get up to space on this wonderful vehicle that sits up there. But when I think about the vehicle, it's really not the vehicle, it's the team that really comes together to make this reality happen. It comes from astronauts, it comes from engineers, it comes from folks that are really dedicated to solve really hard problems, that just have an unbelievable desire to challenge the unknown and work in the extreme environment of space. And this team really works together, and we fly this vehicle every day, and it operates 24 hours a day. We've had crews on orbit for 11 years up on board Space Station. And it's just an amazing thing. And even tonight, as we sit here today, there's going to be a cargo vehicle. The automated transfer vehicle is going to launch from French Guiana and go to the space station tonight and then dock in several days and bring up a set of cargo. And a similar vehicle will carry your experiments to space station, the HTV, and that's going to fly in the summer, and there will be another one next year where your experiments will be on. So what was really neat about this whole project was we got to bring in you, the students, into the same team. We brought you in virtually. So through the internet and through your creativity, your imagination, using the computer, using the networks, looking at science and researching, you came up with these great ideas that we're going to get a chance to see. So it's my privilege on behalf of the International Space Station team and really the human spaceflight team that is really getting ready to go beyond low Earth orbit to congratulate you on what you've done and really thank you for the efforts and thoughts that you put into these activities. It's my pleasure to introduce or to talk to the 17 to 18-year-old regional winners. And before I do that, we'll get a chance to meet some of our newest members of the virtual International Space Station team with these videos.
I've always been interested in astronomy. We're on a planet surrounded by stars, in a galaxy surrounded by other galaxies, and we don't even know how big it is. Our class up here on the observatory at Wheaton College saw the International Space Station go by a few months ago, and just imagining that my idea could possibly be up there, it was just a really amazing moment. I will never forget that. If my experiment was in space, we'd be able to learn how a snowflake would form in the microgravity conditions of space and see if it would still have a hexagonal base or if it would be a completely different type of snowflake entirely. I'd love to be an astrophysicist, or specifically a theoretical cosmologist. You get to imagine for a living. I would just love to let my mind go free and to make discoveries without bounds. My mom's definitely an amazing inspiration. She's so driven and always been so supportive of anything I want to do and sacrificed a lot for me to be where I am now, and she's just a really wonderful person. I have a black belt in Taekwondo and I'm working toward my second degree. I think it's a sport and an art kind of together. It centers your mind and body too. So much opportunity has become available because of the YouTube Space Lab competition. It's almost unbelievable that it went from an idea that I could have gone with or not, and I did, and it got to this stage in the competition. I'm just so grateful.
My name is Amr, I'm 18 years old. I come from Alexandria, Egypt, and I'm currently in a gap year. My friends would say I'm a little quirky, maybe sarcastic. I think they are partially right. My family is a big family. I have a 7-year-old sister, a 16-year-old sister, and a 14-year-old brother. I got my passion for learning from my family. They were my primary supporting system. The idea of sending an experiment to space is the most exciting thing that I have ever heard in my life. I've always been fascinated by science because with a handful of equations I can explain the world around me. It feels great to represent all the Middle East because Egypt's contributions to the field of space exploration has been minimal, so winning YouTube Space Lab will mean everything to me, to my family, and to people in the Middle East. When the revolution started on the 25th of January 2011, it was a mixture of both times of hope and frightening times. All the schools were closed for about 2 or 3 months, so I had to study big parts of the curriculum on my own. That was a very challenging time. I think in the future, things are going to change a lot. I would like to work and put effort to develop my country and see a change in my life. Competitions like YouTube Space Lab will inspire millions of people to explore and to be curious about the world. If I'm one of the global winners, it's going to be a lifetime achievement. It's going to be out of this world.
My name is Sachin S. Kuke. I'm from Bangalore, India. I'm 18 years old. I'm studying my first year mechanical engineering at VMS College of Engineering. I live with my father and mother. My mother is a housemaker and my father works for the police department. Bangalore is really a busy city and it's a great place to live in. I'm very much interested in aerospace engineering. I'm curious learning about space science. My dream is to become an astronaut, so these subjects get me nearer to that. The best part of my day at school is when I work in the aero design team, where we design small RC planes. I love doing that. I think this design is just perfect. After the classes, I go home, do my academic studies, and then if I get some time, I play basketball with my friends. Whenever you study a lot, you just need to freshen up a bit. So we'll go to the playground and have a great game. I heard about the YouTube Space Lab when I was very curious to know about that competition. So basically I came up with a few ideas and finally came to this idea of the ferrofluids and just entered it. When I found out that I was the regional winner, the first thing I did was inform my parents. They were really very happy and proud of me. It was one of the best moments of my life. I'm really proud of what I'm doing. I will be representing my country at the international level, so it will be really a proud moment for myself, my family, and the country. I always dreamed of becoming an astronaut, and if you be the global winner, you would get to experience a 10-day astronaut training in Russia. That is really, that's a dream. To experience.
Okay, Emerald and and Sachin, if you can come on up. All right, so well, let me just ask you a couple questions. How long did it take for you to come up with your idea for your experiment?
from initial idea to putting in the entry, about 3 months.
Wow, that's a lot of work and thinking. So, how long did you work on your experiment to get it ready to go fly?
Actually, I knew about the competition really late, so I only had 1 day.
Wow. And how did you find out about the competition?
On YouTube, I was just, it was by accident actually.
Wow, what a great accident. Sasha, again, how did you find out about the competition, and what did you think of your time here in Washington?
I found about the YouTube Space Lab competition when I was browsing some random space videos on YouTube. As a student, I was really interested in space science, so thought of just participating in it. You know, it doesn't matter if I win or not. I just wanted to participate in it. It took me around 1 month to come up with the idea.
Well, thank you all. Congratulations.
Amen. Sachi.
Again, thank you all for doing your experiments and putting together. Good luck in the competition, and you can watch the space station fly overhead, and you can tell your friends that you're part of that space station team.
Thank you, Bill. As Bill mentioned, it's not just NASA that's part of the International Space Station team. ESA and JAXA are also involved and also key partners with us on YouTube Space Lab. And we're very lucky to have representatives from both organizations here with us today. And we're also very lucky to have messages from astronauts, ESA astronaut Samantha Cristoforetti and JAXA astronaut Akiko Hoshide, which we'll show to you now.
Hi, my name is Samantha Cristoforetti and I'm an astronaut with the European Space Agency. And I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to say a few words today at this very special event on behalf of ESA. At the European Space Agency, we are deeply committed to the advancement of science and scientific education. And that is why myself and several ESA colleagues have served as judges in the Space Lab competition. We have watched and judged several of your proposals for the competition, and we have been impressed by your ideas, your intelligence, your commitment, your knowledge of science, your creativity, your ability to communicate. All of that is an inspiration for us and a source of hope for the future of generations of scientists. We are proud of each and every one of you, and you should be proud of yourself. Thank you.
Hi, I'm JAXA astronaut Aki Hoshide. I'm thrilled to be able to share a few words at this special event on behalf of JAXA. I want to say congratulations to the teams, especially to Patrick and Derek from New Zealand and Sachin from India. As an engineer, I was particularly interested in how microgravity will affect heat transfer. JAXA is very proud to be involved in YouTube Space Lab. The winning experiments are scheduled to be launched this summer on JAXA's HTV-3 space vehicle from Tanegashima in southern Japan to the International Space Station. Well, it's almost time to find out the global winners. Best of luck to you all.
And now I would like to introduce the person with arguably the coolest job in the world, the person who is actually going to travel to the space station to carry out the winning experiments, NASA astronaut Sunita Williams.
Thanks, Saman. Thanks thanks everybody for being here. I'm totally psyched to be here. This is really cool. I loved meeting everybody today. This was great. I wish I could have been here all week long to hang out with y'all and just get to know you a little bit better. But I think through the videos you sent in and through the videos we saw today, we saw what great people you are, all the winners of your regional areas. I mean, wow, hands down. How many thousands of applicants came into YouTube for this? And you guys are the 6 winners right here. That's pretty awesome. And Aki didn't mention, by the way, that he'll be up there in space with me this summer, along with Yuri Malenchenko, and the 3 of us will join Gennady Padalka, Joe Akaba, Sergei Rebin, who will already be on the space station. And we'll be the ones who get to grab the HTV when it gets close to the space station with the robotic arm and bring it up to the space station and dock it. And then we open the hatch, and inside will be a bunch of experiments. 2 of them will be the ones from you guys. So I thank you for that. And so we're going to have all sorts of cool things to do while we're up there. Like I said, we'll be working the robotic arm. I hope we'll be doing a spacewalk. But we'll be doing really important science while we'll be there. And part of that is yours. So today, I'd like to just tell you which 2 science experiments will be there. They're the ones from Dorothy and Sarah, and the ones from So please come on up.
This is kind of on the fly, but we have literally just got a call from the White House. And they've heard about Space Lab and they've heard about your experiments. And it turns out that President Obama's chief scientific advisor wants to meet you this afternoon. So I don't know whether you guys have plans or not, but if you'd like to, later this afternoon we'll take a trip down Pennsylvania Avenue and have a chat. So with that, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to everyone who has been part of the Space Lab team who's made this happen. It's a dream come true, and it's a very good day. Thank you.